All right, call the meeting to order at 6:31. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Berman.
Here.
Trustee Bluthart.
Here.
Trustee McNeil is absent. Trustee Pierce.
Present.
Trustee Mason.
Here.
Trustee Peterson.
Present.
Mayor Gardner.
Present. All right, we have a couple items in the beginning of the meeting and the mayoral report. First is we acknowledge that this is Disability Pride Month. We also have some special guests here tonight. The first one is our library director, who's Jennifer Drinka. She's sitting back here. Hi, Jennifer. So if you do not know, Jennifer was selected as the 2024 Illinois Library Association Librarian of the Year. In the press release, it says that this award celebrates her exceptional leadership, transformative vision, and lifelong dedication to enhancing library services. I think I learned this from the grand opening, the fifth director in the history of the library, which is 102 years old. All women, yes. They had their $9.6 million referendum and renovation, as well as a $90,000 live and learn grant to ensure the library's restrooms were fully accessible to all patrons. The Librarian of the Year Award celebrates individuals who exemplify outstanding leadership, innovation, and dedication to advancing library services. Jennifer's achievements underscore her profound impact on Antioch Public Library and her unwavering commitment to the library profession. She will be honored at an award ceremony October 8th to the 10th in Peoria, Illinois. So again, I wanted to thank you and congratulate you on that award. If you wanted to say anything, there's a microphone there for you. Hey.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be here today. I didn't realize how shy I was until I've been getting congratulations for this. I just love to help people. I love our community. My mom, Kathy Groth, over there, raised us. You know, we didn't have a lot of money, but she brought us to the library every week. And it means a lot to me. It means a lot to our community. And I'm really glad to work together with the village and really appreciate you recognizing me today. And thank you for everybody that came to support me from the library and from my family today. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay, we have a couple appointments, 2 appointments for the planning and zoning that I need confirmation from the board. One would be to appoint Robert McCarty as the chairman of the PZB board with a term ending in 2027. And the second would be appoint Samantha Mish to the planning and zoning board with a term ending in 2026. She's currently on our parks board. Is there any discussion regarding those 2 individuals? No. All right. Motion to a motion and a second to approve.
Second.
Motion. Who made the motion?
I made the motion.
Motion trustee Mason, second trustee Pierce. Roll call, please.
Berman.
Yes.
Bluthart.
Yes.
Pierce.
Aye.
Mason.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
All right. What's that? Oh, Sam's here? Where is she? There. Oh, there she is. Okay, yeah. We can do Sam's oath right now.
solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
Thank you.
That's all right.
All right, I have one other appointment. We have to reappoint our village attorney who is now what's that? No, that's it. Reappoint our village attorney, who is now operating his own practice. So just for technical purposes, we need a motion and a second for consideration and approval of a resolution authorizing and approving the appointment of the village attorney and related engagement agreement for the village of Antioch, Illinois, resolution number 24-54.
So moved. Second.
Motion trustee Peterson, second trustee Berman. Roll call, please.
Bergman,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Before we go to the citizens wishing to address the board, just 2 other announcements. One is the park grand opening is on Saturday, August 17th, I believe, with a rain date of the 18th Sunday if there's going to be bad weather. And also I did receive a call from our U.S. Congressman saying that we are being passed on for 2 grants to the full appropriations committee. One is for about $600,000 grant for making Main Street and Park more ADA accessible. And the other one was $1 million and some change towards the public works facility. So we'll hear
Wonderful.
about that in October. All right, citizens wishing to address the board. Got quite a few tonight, so I'll have Lori. We probably got to stick closer to the time frame tonight since we have several people speaking. And there are certain individuals I believe want to speak to a specific item on the agenda. I can have them wait until that item's called.
The opportunity to speak to the board is provided for members of the public who have a comment to make about the business of the board. The board appreciates hearing from stakeholders and values your thoughts and questions. The board strives to make the best decisions for the village, and public input is very helpful. The board must protect the civility and decorum of this meeting. Please be respectful for the duties of the board and the democratic process in your comments tonight. Please state your name and address your comments to the board. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please be factual and courteous, and the board requests that you not make statements that are personally disrespectful or condescending to members of the board or staff. To the extent multiple speakers are addressing a single issue, the mayor reserves the right to limit the number of speakers making public comment of a repetitive nature and or limit the amount of time for public comment. The board does not respond to comments or attempt to answer questions during the public comment period.
I think number 14 was the one that we wanted to speak when the number.
Jay Jazwiak, do you want to wait for that item?
Sure.
Mary Dominiak, would you like to wait for
You wanna
that
wait
item?
14, Mary?
There's 2 things I wanted to address. I'd like to reserve my comments for Starbucks when it comes up on the agenda, but I also just wanted to quickly apprise the board of what's happening with the Main Street initiative. We did have our first meeting and it was very well attended. I think we had about 30 people there. And Trustee Bluthart was there, Mr. Searle was there. A lot of interest and energy around this initiative. Our next meeting is going to be August 12th at 7 o'clock. If anybody wants to join us, this is a group that's being formed to focus on Main Street, meaning Main Street and Lake Street. So I want to thank you for the support and just give you that quick update. And I'll hold my comment on the other till later.
Thank you.
Matt DiMartini?
Judge DiMartini.
Judge DiMartini?
Judge.
Here come the judge.
You can start that.
I'm actually here to thank you guys. For the last 7 years and a total of 9 under 3 different mayors, you guys made me your prosecutor. And you guys have left me alone and trusted me to do my work. And it has been wonderful. It's been the highlight of my career to this point to be the village attorney, and especially to work with these 2 guys, because you guys do have one of the best police departments in Lake County, and I've worked with almost all of them. So I'm here really to thank you guys for letting me do my job. Hopefully I did it well, and for letting me work with guys like this. So I'm just here to say thank you and kind of goodbye. So, because now I'm done and I've seen the replacements that you guys have selected or finalists, and all of them are wonderful. I told Scott and Jeff I would give my input on them, and they're all great. So you're being left with somebody great. So again, last time, thank you, Gar.
Thank you.
Joe Haley?
Sure, go for it. Whatever your preference.
This may be a first because back to back, you are all getting a thank you again. I'm Joey Haley from the Woods of Antioch, and just thank you all again for getting this much needed project started and underway. I know it's on the agenda tonight to get some funding for us, so thank you for that. Second thing I want to mention is August 12th is a Monday. We have our HOA board meeting at State Bank of the Lakes at 7 p.m. I know some of the other village officials are attending, but also wanted to invite the trustees to attend as well. It's going to be a thank you to you all to getting that done. So thank you so much. Thank you.
And poetic justice. I figured Joe, he was laughing at me when I twisted my ankle in the Woods of Antioch on one of the potholes during the 5K. So it got me.
Jessica Sanfilippo,
14. Okay, sure.
Jennifer Horvath.
Okay.
Item 14. Carlene Worster.
My name is,
Sure.
my name is Carlene Worcester, and I've been a resident of Antioch for going on 17 years. This is my home. And I'm very concerned about the fact that now I'm disabled. I'm in a wheelchair or a scooter, and I can't get around the town that I love. I can't get up. Some of the streets are impassable for me. If I would like to go see a movie, I can't get to the movie theater because either side of Lake Street on that side, there's a light post on one corner that you can't maneuver, and the entrance on Main Street on Lake Street is not big enough for a wheelchair to have to get up onto the curb. And now we also have a restaurant that has taken over that street that. So that's one of my issues. And then it people really got me have a post office in Antioch that I, as a handicapped individual, cannot even go to the post office, which is a federal building. It's because of how their doors are configured. I came to this meeting tonight and almost couldn't get into this meeting because of the we have sidewalks that end in the fields. We have signposts, signs in the middle of sidewalks. We have issues that need to be addressed for people like me that can't walk and can't get around and love this town.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Peter Feline.
All right. Everybody's here for Starbucks, huh? I got Dunkin' Donuts tonight. All right. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. Is there any request to remove any of those items?
3 and 4.
3 and 4 move to business. Okay, so I have a request to move 3 and 4 to the regular business. Can I get a did I get a motion second on that? Right. Yeah. So can I get a motion and a second on items number 1 and 2? So moved. Motion trustee Bluthart. Second trustee Pierce. Roll call. Oh. Ready? Microsoft again?
Berman,
Yes.
Luthart,
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Before I move on to the next items, I'm gonna go back and I see Mr. McCarty's here. Do you want to do the swearing in, Bob? So Mr. McCarty's here. We'll have him sworn in as the chairman for PCB. Oh,
I, Robert McCarty, having been appointed as chairman of planning and zoning board of the village of Antioch and the county of Lake, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Illinois, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of planning and zoning board chairman to the best of my ability.
Oh, you already did.
Andy,
No.
I bought them from Andy.
Put your resume in the packet. I missed it in there. I looked for it. Wasn't sure who you were. Congratulations. Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations.
I have to waive the second reading on this. Thank you. or this one's for Lucky. Okay, so item number 3, we have approval of an ordinance deleting and adding one Class B restaurant and limited service liquor license for Lucky Koi Inc., DBA Asian Harbor, to be located at 508 Orchard Street to reflect a change in corporate ownership. Ordinance number 24-07-40. Do I have a motion and a second waiving the second reading?
So moved.
Motion
Waiving
trustee,
second reading.
motion trustee Bluthart, second trustee Peterson. Discussion on this at all?
Yeah, it's just house cleaning on, for both, it's just house cleaning on the certificate. It should be, have the village bank as additional insured.
For the,
Like for liquor li-
not for our property, it's for liquor liability.
I thought every certificate.
Okay. All right.
Has to have additional insured.
Okay. All right, so with that caveat, do I have roll call, please?
Berman,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
All right, 5 voting yes, motion carries. Next is approval of a resolution authorizing a special event liquor license to Professional Beverage Service LLC for the Village of Antioch Sequoia Creek Park grand opening, resolution 24-55. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Hold on. Okay, motion trustee Bluthart, second trustee Berman. All right, any discussion? Not roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
All right, 5 voting yes, motion carries. On to regular business, longer agenda because we did not have a board meeting earlier this month. So we have first is item number 5, consideration and approval to ratify the July 10th, 2024 payments of accounts payable as prepared by staff at the amount of $3,144,471.92. We have a motion and a second.
So moved.
Motion trustee Peterson,
Second.
second trustee Bluthart. Any discussion on this one?
I would think since it's such a large
Yeah.
amount, we should have a little
So-
explanation.
I believe it's, yep. Trust. Chief Gutchow?
Nearly 3.1 million of that is for the park construction project across the street on the payments.
Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
All right, 5 voting yes, motion carries. Item 6, consideration and approval of payments of accounts payable as prepared by staff in the amount of $484,088.34. I have a motion and a second. Motion trustee
Second.
Mason, second trustee Berman. Any discussion? Not roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Item number 7 is consideration and approval of a resolution authorizing and approving and I think it's an employee leasing agreement for the Village of Antioch, Illinois. Interim Director of Parks and Recreation, Resolution 24-56. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion trustee Mason,
Second.
second trustee Peterson. Chief Gutchow.
So just to briefly recap, as you know, our current Parks Director, Mary Bolte, is retiring in August. So thank her for her many years of service to the village. As this is being such a critical role within the village, finding a permanent Parks and Recreation Director to succeed her is not something we wanted to rush. So in turn, we turned to GovHR for a interim Parks Director. They paired us with Mr. Jeff Nahila, who is here with us this evening. I know you had the opportunity to review his resume. I would just like to point out that he has over 37 years in Parks and Recreation Management. He's a certified Parks and Recreation executive. He has a bachelor's degree in business management and a master's degree in recreation and management. He has served within Parks and Recreation at any conceivable level you can think of, from your smaller Parks and Recreation departments such as ours, all the way up through Parks and Recreation at the federal level. So Mr. Nahila is here to introduce himself. Jeff, if you'd just like to stand up and smile and wave, everybody.
Yeah.
He's be happy to answer any questions if you have, but he comes highly recommended, and I think he's the perfect person to take the reins of our Parks Department and kind of guide us into the next phase of our Parks and Recreation programming.
Questions from the board? All right. If not, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Next one is item number 8, consideration and approval of an ordinance deleting and adding one Class D gas station convenience store liquor license and one Class A and Class C tobacco license for Dravid Gas Station LLC to be located at 359 North Avenue to reflect the change in the corporate ownership. We also, this is ordinance number 24-7-41. I entertain a motion and a second waiving the second reading. Motion trustee Mazik, second trustee Pierce. The applicant is here. Are there any questions or discussions?
Are you changing the name or is it still gonna be BP?
It's still gonna be BP.
Okay, still the great service and everything?
Yes.
All right, roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther.
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 9, consideration and approval of a resolution granting authority to the village administrator to proceed with the supervisory control and data acquisition upgrades for the treatment facility and water and sewer department in the amount of $68,600. Resolution number 24-57. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion trustee Mazik,
Second.
second trustee Berman. All right, any discussion on this? Roll call.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther.
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
All right, 5 voting yes, motion carries. This item, next item was discussed in a previous cow. It's consideration and approval of an ordinance granting land use relief for the property located at 417 East Illinois Route 173, Suites 106 and 107, Antioch, Illinois, special use permit for a recreational cannabis facility, ordinance number 24-07-42. Do we have a motion and second waiving the second reading? Motion trustee Mazik,
Second.
second trustee Peterson. Any further discussion? If not, I'll ask for roll call, please.
Berman,
No.
Luther.
Yes.
Pierce,
No.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
All right, 3 voting.
Mayor
Okay.
Gardner.
Yes. 4 voting yes, motion carries. Item number 11, consideration and approval of an ordinance granting a variance to allow a recreational cannabis dispensary organization at 417 East Route 173, Suites 106 and 107, Antioch, Illinois. Ordinance number 24-07-43. Do I have a motion and a second waiving the second reading?
So moved.
Motion trustee Mazik, second trustee Bluthart. Roll call, please.
Berman,
No.
Luther.
Yes.
Pierce,
No.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Mayor
Well-
Gardner.
Yes. 4 voting yes, motion carries. Next item, consideration and approval of an ordinance granting land use relief for the property located at 235 East Route 173, Antioch, Illinois. Variance for a monument sign, ordinance number 24-07-44. Do I have a motion and a second waiving the second reading? Motion
Second.
trustee Mazik, second trustee Peterson. Any discussion on this item?
Can, we have an explanation of the
Yes, yes,
variances, please?
Your Honor. Yes, this matter comes before you for a proposed variance for the Kia dealerships monument sign. As you well know, the village's sign ordinance, we limit monument signs to a maximum height of 8 feet and a maximum square footage of 40 square feet. Because of the size, the prominence of the project, and also based on the trends of auto dealerships, specifically what Kia is looking for, Mr. Scarpelli is requesting a variance for the monument sign for the new Kia dealership. This proposed monument sign would be a little approximately around 15 feet and 76 square feet, which is generally consistent. There are a number of signs over there, specifically the Great Lakes signs, Great Lakes sign over at the Walmart Center, which are generally the same height. So there is precedent for giving relief for monument signs along Route 173. But Mr. Scarpelli has identified the need for a larger sign. This did go before the planning commission. They did recommend approval of the proposed variance. So with that, I'll be more than happy to answer any other questions.
Any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther.
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Next item is consideration and approval of a resolution authorizing and approving a memorandum of understanding between the County of Lake and the Village of Antioch, Illinois, for studies regarding public sanitary sewage treatment services. This is resolution number 24-58. This has not been on a cow, but it has been discussed in a previous staff report. And importantly, would have no financial impact on the village for this study. So, do I have a motion and a second?
Motion trustee Masek,
Second.
Second trustee Peterson. Any discussion on this item? If not, roll call, please.
Herman,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. All right, here we are. Number 14. Consideration and approval of a resolution approving a site plan for real property located at the address commonly known as 1051 Route 59, Antioch, Illinois, resolution number 24-59. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Trustee Peterson, second trustee Masek. Mr. Garrigan, I'll give you the
Yes,
floor first.
Thank you, Your Honor. This matter comes before the village board again for consideration of a special use and a site plan approval for a Starbucks at Route 59. Just to refresh your memory, the basis for a special use is the basis of the drive-through. As you know, all drive-throughs require a special use. Before you, Your Honor, is a revised site plan. Perhaps the most significant change that you're looking at is the building has been flipped. As you recall, the building was previously, the front of the building was facing to the east, i.e. the back of the building would have been facing Route 59. I know several trustees had concerns about that. Staff had concerns about that, from a site plan perspective. So we have worked with the Hubbard Development Group. They've worked with Starbucks, and they have proposed now, what you're looking at this evening is a proposal where the front of the building now faces Route 59. So staff is very comfortable with that configuration. We think that's consistent with maximizing the visibility for this proposed Starbucks. Second change is there was some discussion about potentially having a limited access point on Hillside. Staff did advise the board of trustees we would look at that. We did look at it. We worked with Hubbard Development Group. Hubbard Development Group conferring with Starbucks made it quite clear that that really was a very really was a non-starter from their perspective. That would not work from the operations from Starbucks operation perspective. They made it quite clear that that really would in some ways be a deal breaker. Therefore, the site plan that you're looking at this evening does not have an additional access point on Hillside. The actual plan that's before you this evening. So I have the actual developers here this evening from Hubbard Development to provide you some additional illumination, some additional justification of their basis, determining that Hillside, adding an access point on Hillside would not be appropriate. In addition, there were some slight changes to the drive-through. Originally, there were 12 stacking spaces. The new plan that's before you this evening has 10 stacking spaces. And there was also elimination of 1 parking space. But nevertheless, this proposed project does comply with the village's parking requirements as it relates to stacking, as it relates to parking. It does meet the village's landscape requirements. So with that, staff, again, would be more than happy to answer any questions that the board has. Again, the actual developers are here this evening to provide you any additional information that you're looking for as it relates to the operations of this proposed Starbucks. Again, staff is recommending approval. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of the proposed special use along with the site plan. With that, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. And then again, Mr. McGlinden is actually here from Hubbard Development Group. With that, I'll conclude my staff report.
Thank you. Based on the revision, does that resolve a lot of the items that people were wanting to speak about? Okay. What's that? Yeah, you can call. Lori will call each one. If you still would like to say something, you can come up here to the podium.
Jay Jasbiak, Mary Dominiak, Jessica Sanfilippo,
I just want to say that I'm in support of the project, as long as we don't have the access point on Hillside.
Jennifer Horvath, Peter Filan. Could you please come up to the microphone?
I'd like to understand a little better, and this is probably for developers then, but how are the turn lanes going to work off of 59? How is the traffic control going to be handled? And how is this going to interface with basically the ACE hardware? And then second, I'd like to understand what the elevation looks like from the hillside part of the building.
Sure. Developers and Mr. Garrigan can answer those questions.
Hi, Scott McClendon with Hubbard Street Group. Yes, there is a slowdown lane as you're going south there's a turn lane into the site. We will share access with Ace Hardware, and then you turn around site as you go east. And you are able to drive through the shopping center if you want access, but the main access will be off Route 59. Yeah, there is a slow down turn lane into the site. North, I mean, you would just stop at the stop sign and then you take a right into Route 59.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So the question was going north.
Oh, going north.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would just take a right into the center.
The current state of the Route 59 is not being changed as you're going north. So that currently services the whole 4 outlots, as you well know.
I think the second question was on the elevation of the building.
Yeah, elevation. There is a slight downward elevation change, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna build up to a site. You will go down slightly, but it is already raised the site. There is a line of pine trees that will offer some coverage, and then we are giving a landscape plan that is all around, and we will have trees covered. Yeah, so we did just revise the site plan, and it took some time just to get approval from Starbucks. So we got that done yesterday. So our landscape plan was a little behind. We actually got it done an hour before this meeting, but so happy to share that internally with the village. But there are going to be trees around the whole perimeter of the site to give coverage to the neighbors.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, there are sidewalks. Yeah, there are sidewalks. On Route 59, and then there is a sidewalk to the south of the site that does actually access the side, and then you can take that to it right towards Route 59 towards the site, and then walk it.
All right, thank you. Sure.
We already have an issue with people already cutting through to avoid the traffic or the stoplight of 59 and 173. They already cut through Hillside. We've tried to redeem that with speed sticks, stop signs. That has helped a little bit, but sometimes it's still like a drag strip. So my question is, what is the plan for when 59 gets backed up with people waiting to turn in Starbucks? Where are people going to go? They're going to go through Landmark and Mystic Cove. They're going to go through Hillside over to Hardin. I, out of curiosity, called on the 16th of July, the 173 in Deep Lake Road. Their average customers per day is 1,000 people. I don't want 1,000 cars whipping through our neighborhood. So I want to know what the plan is to eliminate the backup, which already gets backed up on 59 with people waiting in line to turn into Starbucks.
Yeah, John McLinden from Hubbard Street Group. I've done, many shopping centers like this, and I can tell you, even though there's not a traffic study for this, there's not going to be an issue. With all due respect, there's numerous ways to get into the site from both 173 and from 59. There's a direct access driveway into the site. There's sufficient, stacking. There should be never any backup into Route 59 to prevent people getting into the site. It's just, there's just not that kind of volume. I think Starbucks would be happy if there was that kind of volume. but it's just not going to be, it's just not going to be an issue. There's direct access into the site. There's from the driveway, there's another right in, right out on 59. There's another full access up at 173. There's cross parking and there's cross access easements from all the owners of those various sites. Thank you.
Yep. And just to address further concerns, I like to play in the world of what ifs. If there are problems, the village does have a traffic calming committee, which is a mechanism in place for to address resident concerns such as that. So if you do identify a problem with traffic flow, traffic speeds, you may think there's a need for a traffic sign or adjustments. In the patterns, there's a mechanism in place where you can apply that to the traffic calming committee, and the group internally gets together, reviews it. We could forward it to engineers if we have to, and try to resolve the problem for you internally.
Any other discussion on this item? Trustee Pierce?
Now, first of all, I'm glad they flipped it around and made it, instead of people coming into our village seeing the back side of a store, they're going to see the front side of a store. So I'm glad they flipped it around. Despite all promises aside from the guy with the nice pretty hair that's white and looks good. We've seen what Starbucks on 173 is like. There's issues there all the time. The village, I think, needs to keep a constant eye on it and accept your phone calls from there. And at some point, we may have to discuss what happens on Hillside. I'm sorry people cut through there. I live in a subdivision. I got people cutting through my road, and they race through my road. And I call the chief and I complain, and he's like, "Well, call the calming committee." So all over town, people cut through places, and I know it's aggravating because it aggravates me. One of the cut throughs killed my dog years ago, so I know how it feels. So we need to be aware. But at the same time, I don't think that concern can let us stop moving forward on this property that sat vacant since the Ace Hardware was built. And speaking of the access on Ace Hardware, for future reference, if Hillside gets really bad, just take the speed bumps out of Ace Hardware's parking lot and put them over on Hillside. You can't make it through the Ace Hardware, so there won't be any backup there. So that's just my input.
Mr. Jaswick?
Yeah, get to the mic. First time here, sorry about that.
Jay Joswiak, 60 Hennings Court. So to Trustee Pierce's statement there, yeah, there's a lot of cut throughs. And I mean, like the lady said, Hillside's like Indy 500, okay? But from 20 years ago when I first moved here, and I don't know how long you've been here, but we've had 2 more homeowners associations and projects in where people cutting across 59 to get to school, cutting through Hillside. We have enough trouble trying to get out onto 173 as it is now. Okay, so I get your point. Yeah, it's cut through all the time. Okay, but our place has more people in the last 15 years than I've seen trying to get in and out of there. Plus, we have school buses in there picking up kids and dropping them off. So for me, that's an issue, and speed cannot happen. And I've looked to the chief to probably, engage more in putting police officers down there and write more tickets. I know you got a new one. She's small. She's a firecracker. But so that would be my response to people cutting through.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this?
One more thing, we have people going right behind Ace Hardware up that little road, and there's 2 brand new signs that Dennis put in to say "Do not enter," and cars and everything go up that road. We have people that walk through there, so that's a safety issue as well.
And I agree. I think the police should be pulling over and ticketing because, as you say, cut throughs happen. Oakwood Knolls, I can tell you, they come out down Nelson Road, the backside of Oakwood Knolls. They come down Oakwood Drive. They speed down Oakwood Drive and where the kids are playing, and then they if they want to go out to Lakewood Street, they cut down my road and cut across the corner. If they want to go down out the Oakwood entrance, they cut through there. So yeah, cut through should be stopped. And if there's a problem, please let us know. And the chief, I hopefully does his job as the chief at that point.
Listen, with the three new associations here, I mean, we sit on our deck and listens to car accidents on 173 turning in the hillside. I know Trustee Masick is on, when he was on the fire lease program, he went and he's pronounced people out there, okay? And so again, it's hard enough for people to get onto 173 that live there, and speeding through there is not a good option. So thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you. All right. Anything else on the development itself? All right, roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Item number 15 is also related to the Starbucks. Is consideration and approval of an ordinance granting land use relief for the property located at 1051 Route 59, Antioch, Illinois. Special use permit for a drive-through facility. Ordinance number 24-7-45. Do I have a motion and second waiving the second reading?
So move.
Trustee, motion trustee Peterson, second to that. Second trustee Masick. Roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther.
Yes.
Pierce.
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Next item is 16, consideration and approval of a resolution accepting and awarding a bid for the 2024 Woods of Antioch pavement reconstruction project to work to Peter Baker and Sons Company in the amount of $386,359.50. Resolution number 24-60. Do I have a motion and a
So
second?
moved.
Motion trustee
Second.
Pierce, second trustee Berman. Roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther.
Yes.
Pierce.
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Next item is consideration and approval of the annual appropriation ordinance that was previously presented by Director Torres. Ordinance number 24-7-46. Do I have a motion and a second waiving the second reading?
So move, waiving the second reading.
Motion trustee Peterson.
Second.
Second trustee Berman. Roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther.
Yes.
Pierce.
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Next item is 18, consideration and approval of a resolution appointing Assistant Village Administrator Jim Moran as the alternate director to Solid Waste Agency of Lake County, Swalco, Resolution 24-61. We have a motion and a second waiving the second reading.
So moved.
Motion trustee Mason,
Second.
second trustee Berman. Roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther.
Yes.
Pierce.
Aye.
Mason,
Yes, they got great coffee.
Peterson,
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Item number 19, consideration and approval of an ordinance authorizing the Village of Antioch to borrow money for the purchase of vehicles for the Antioch Public Works Department, ordinance number 24-7-47. Do I have a motion and a second waiving the second reading?
Second.
Motion trustee Basic, second trustee Pierce. Discussion, trustee Pierce.
Dennis, can you explain what vehicles we're purchasing, and is this a new procedure for us, or were we leasing before and now we're borrowing money to purchase, or what's the scoop? I was trying to roll through all the vehicles. I'm like going, what's this?
Yeah, these were the vehicles that we previously approved. So I ordered them. We're finally receiving them.
Okay.
And now, of course, they want.
Yeah, these are the ones they gave us 2.5 year plan for.
It was quite a while, and we've only received 3 out of the 5. So as far as how the financing has changed, that I can't. Correct.
Good evening, board. Thank you. So prior to my arrival at Antioch, there was a leasing program the Village of Antioch was part of. We lost the entities that were doing the leasing for us, so we moved on to loans. So with the Public Works Department, this is the first time in the last 2 years that we're gonna issue a loan for their trucks. The trucks were ordered last year, I believe, and they're in the budget this year. And right now we anticipated the trucks coming in September, all the vehicles, and they're here. We received 3. State Bank of the Lake is the loaner, And we went out for different pricing and different entities to give us an interest. So right now we won't be doing leasing. We can't find a company that does the leasing. So this year we are purchasing the police vehicles in cash and we issuing a loan for the public works cars. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther.
Yes.
Pierce.
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. All right, number 20, I've waited 3 years for this one. Item number 20, consideration and approval of a resolution authorizing the village administrator to execute an agreement with ClearGov for ClearForm software in the amount of $20,380 for the first year of a 3-year term. This is for code enforcement software. This is resolution number 24-62. Do I have a motion and a second?
So,
Motion
second.
Trustee Masek, second trustee Peterson. Any discussion on this?
Does this also cover the rental properties that we're responsible for inspecting?
We cover all this stuff.
Now we can get started on
Yes,
what we
yes.
promised 2 years ago.
Licensing, it takes licensing.
So this will cover, and this was a group project vetting. There wasn't a off-the-shelf solution that fit our needs. So a group led by Amy Peixoto, our IT manager, and Lori and others on staff went through an extensive vetting process to find ClearForms is the best fit for our needs. And right away, it's a form software form package that will be able to do business licenses, golf registration, and clerk's office needs like raffle licenses, special events permits, that sort of thing. That's the initial things they're going to focus on. Also recreation like parade lineup, which in the past had been done on Google Forms. This brings it all in-house under one platform. We're not implementing the payment program portion of this just yet because it doesn't connect. There's nothing out there that connects with our current software in finance. At some point when we have finance software upgrades, then it'll connect and we'll be able to take online payments. But this will make most of these a lot more of an efficient process. Now, as far as the rental ordinance, Michael, if I understand it right, that will be the next phase. So that'll be the next phase. So initially, the quickest things to get up and running will be business licenses, golf cart registration, and clerk's office forms.
How soon before next phase? We've already suffered through one rental roundabout.
So as you know, our internal support for IT services is limited to one person, so we don't really want to overwhelm her. Understanding the board's concerns in regards to rental inspections and other code enforcement needs, we have found a workaround temporarily. We're doing it the old-fashioned way with an Excel spreadsheet supplemented by our currently existing eGov software online. The benefit to this package is once we do move to it, it automates the process rather than having a form that the inspector will fill out by paper and go in a middle envelope. It will be all tablet based, and then they'll be able to schedule reminders for follow-up inspections. Ultimately, hopefully we'll be able to schedule inspections through the software as well. So it's a very robust software platform. However, it's just the rollout's going to take a little bit of time. We just don't want to have any missteps. So we want to make sure that we fully understand the applications of the software before we apply to something as important as the rental inspection ordinance itself.
So the answer is it'll be a while.
I hope it won't be a while. I don't know what the time frame is until we get the software integrated into our system and start working with it and understanding, what the time constraints are with creating some of these forms and rolling them out. So until we play with it a little bit, I won't be able to give you a solid answer on the time frame itself. But I hope I've proven myself that us and staff are pressing things forward as fast as we can, given our current staffing situation.
Thank you.
I got one more question for you. So if someone turns in a ticket and you get a ticket number, let's just say grass cutting yards, would that coordinate into the software with the ticket number?
No, the citation platform is a completely different thing. Lake County, along with our integration into our RMS system with the rest of the law enforcement community in Lake County, is implementing e-citations. So moving away from the paper-based citations themselves into an e-citation format. So that will all be electronic. You know, whether or not those two talk to one another, it's hard to say right now. Lake County's running a little bit behind on their rollout of the e-citation platform. So we haven't even been able to implement it yet from the county side of things and the court side of things. But once it's up and running, ClearForms is one of the choices because it does integrate with most of the platforms that are out there. So we felt it was one of the most robust and comprehensive solutions under one name. You know, certainly, you know, there's other options out there, but in the interest of trying to mind the costs of it, we went for the one that covered the most. There, as Jim said, there's no one size fits all, so we had to go with one size fits most, and we're really confident this will meet our needs.
Any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. Let me get back up there, Jeff. Get the administrator's report next.
Short report. A lot of the things we already touched on briefly. As Judge DiMartini mentioned, we are currently conducting interviews for a new village prosecutor. As he mentioned, the good news is that it appears we can't make a wrong choice. Everyone we have interviewed to date has been phenomenal. So the bad news is it's going to be a hard decision for us. But we hope to bring a recommendation to the board next month. Just so the board is aware, we do have temporary coverage, so we're not lacking in the court's representation side of things. Currently, we do have temporary appointments to represent our interests in both branch court and DUI court. Staff recently began some rather significant work with the Clublands neighborhood. As the board may be aware, there was some frustrations brewing amongst the residents in regards to timelines associated with their HOA member clubhouse. They turned to the village for some assistance on that. Staff collaborated in an effort to meet with the developer and the HOA. It's kind of a shared project between the two of them, so it's rather unique. We got a really good understanding of some of the challenges that they've encountered. It's an HOA member board that's been tasked with a lot of the construction, design, all those sort of things. As we've seen internally, that could be hard when you're professionals. You know, a couple of residents that are trying to make their community better, able to assist them and help them move timelines along. I've asked Director Garrigan to begin participating in their regular construction meetings, which are taking place between their HOA board and the developer. And I'm proud to say that some progress is being made. So, you know, questions come to you, please send them to Director Garrigan. He's keeping tight timelines on the progress of that and using his expertise to help make recommendations for better efficiencies to help some of the project specifics along. You know, for instance, one of the things they've struggled a little bit with is getting siding on the building. So Michael is working with their team to try to find some scheduling efficiencies for them to help improve that. The staffing announcement, the PD recently hired our village's new code enforcement officer. Phil Madura comes to us with a background in community service work. He's got a history with emergency management. He does have prior code enforcement experience, having previously worked as a code official for Lake County. So I think he's going to be a really nice fit for us, and has some prior experiences with dealing with some of the property maintenance concerns that I know the board shares. We also recently hired on the PD side of things our newest police officer. His name is William Piper. He's a lifelong Antioch resident. So you'll get to meet him on August 14th when he comes to the board for his official swearing in. We continue to work on our projects. As some of the members of the board had the opportunity to tour the park this evening, I think they're probably as impressed as we are with the way that is turning out. It's unlike any other park, I think, that you can visit in Lake County. I think the community is going to appreciate and enjoy all it has to offer. That is wrapping up, and we have our grand opening next month, as the mayor had mentioned. We continue to work on our village hall project. I apologize, I don't have anything to put on the board. Yes, so the latest schematic for the board to see. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeff.
So any members of the public are interested in seeing what the latest design is, I do have a large print copy that I will set out on this staff table after the meeting. You're welcome to take a look at it. While it's not quite finalized, we are getting very close. As you can see, one of the nice additions in the latest iteration of this design is the incorporation of a boardroom within the interior of the facility. Our design team was able to come up with a very creative way to shift things around to make that happen while keeping the Village Hall office areas secure by some lockout doors. And we did not have to give up any physical office space for that. So I think it's a really nice design. Just so the board is aware, as you start monkeying with walls and shifting things around, it does add some costs to the project. I don't view them right now as being significant costs, but again, there's going to be some decisions that we're gonna have to make as a group relative to the completion of this project and whether or not we want to repave the parking lot. It's not in what I would call terrible condition, but it certainly isn't in good condition. And then again, whether or not we're going to want to do things like replace the roof as we remodel this. Again, there is some life left in the roof, but do we want to open a brand new facility, knowing that within a couple of years we may have to service the roof? So those will be some questions that I'll be posing to the board in the near future. Public Works continues to come along. The design team is working very hard to find the best value possible given the needs of our Public Works facility. I think Dennis has 4 or 5 different versions now of the building that he's currently reviewing. He's working with FQC on ideas to try to rein in the costs where they can. I can tell you that they have dropped the square footage cost substantially. We're still waiting on what the overall project costs may look like, but just please know that staff and our design team and FQC are working very hard to get that price down as low as we reasonably can. Lastly, I just want to make the board aware that.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
When you say they're working to drop the square footage price,
Yes.
is that the price per square footage, or is that they're going to drop square footage and therefore lower the price?
Well, there's a little bit of both going on, right? There's a give and take. As you know, the original design of the building was a 2-story design that was going to be built into a hill on an alternate site. And in order to try to bring those costs down, they went to a 1-story building. And if you remember, the original design had kind of a irregular design, right? There's different walls and inlets and areas that jutted out. They've gone to a more simple rectangle, but just by apparently design physics, as I'm learning, when you do that, the square footage goes up a bit, but the costs come down. So, there's an ebb and flow, kind of a yin and yang phenomena with that. But what I'm talking about is the cost per square foot. The average cost now, from what the market rate is going, it looks like they've been able to drop that down by about $150 to $200 per square foot. So magnify that throughout the size of the building we're looking at. They're working hard. They're value engineering things. They're comparing everything. They're looking at wall designs. They're looking at what the exterior is going to look like. Fortunately, right now, based on market conditions, precast tip-up walls that staff desired to go down the path of has actually come down lower than what the steel design, the steel exterior is an alternative. So, there's those market conditions that shift. So that's the value of FQC is they're providing real-time pricing for us so we can understand the differences in every decision that we make, right? This roof costs this roof costs this much, this wall design might cost this, we change it, here's where it goes. Red paint costs more than blue paint, those type of things. And they're really getting down to the granular level of it to try to drive that cost down as much as possible. And I hope to have some better numbers for the board to consider and discuss in the near future.
Okay. And I don't care if it's me necessarily, but maybe a couple of the trustees could get a preview of what you guys are working on so that there's no surprises to you guys and no surprises to us.
Absolutely.
We already went down the surprise path.
No, we don't. We certainly don't want any more surprise paths on this. Dennis is in the process of deciding how the building will function for his operations. And some of them are as simple as taking the administrative office side of the building. Do we want it on the north side, the east side, the west side, or the south side, right? It's those type of things that, really Dennis has a little bit of latitude because he knows how his building functions, and you know, this office should be a little bit further away from the shop because it's occupied more than the other, right? Those little little details that I think he as the director is going to have the most insights to. But of course, you know, as the design finalizes, it's my full intent to bring it to the board. And, you know, it's end of the day, it's the People's Public Works building. You represent the people, so you're going to have all the input that you'd like on the final outcome of this building. And just lastly, I want the board to know, as you may know, the department is part of a mutual aid group that's called ILEAS, the Illinois Law Enforcement Alarm System, which is divided up into regions. We have officers that are assigned to that ILEAS group. Last week, we did have one of those officers activated down to the civil unrest in Springfield due to the incidents that you probably heard on the news. And we do have deployments scheduled for both the ILEAS members and NIPUS members for the DNC convention in Chicago. The good thing is that although they'll be there to support, they're not going to be on the outer perimeter. They're going to be in more of a secure perimeter, working to make sure that stays safe for the public. While there's going to be some costs associated with that, I just want the board to know that those are all reimbursable costs by the state, which are ultimately reimbursed to the state by the DNC party. So any overtime costs that we incur as a result of the officer being deployed to any of these LES callouts, as well as lodging, food, per diems, and backfill costs to make sure our streets and our community are secure in the absence of that officer, are all reimbursable expenses. So there won't be any remarkable financial impacts to our community to provide these services. But as we would expect that if we needed help and we made the call, and we would hope others would answer, our department is committed to doing the same for other communities as well. So unless there's any questions, that will conclude my report for this evening.
Any questions?
All right, thank you, Administrator. Anything from the village clerk? All right, anything I didn't receive? Anything? Ready, trustee matters?
Yeah, I got.
Trustee Masek?
I think, we should shoot that couple things. I think we're about due because seems like we're losing employees we lose employees and they go to an entry-level position for more pay. I think we need to do another payroll study. We're not losing talented people. I think we're due to make sure we're in line, that we don't lose an officer of stripes and they go somewhere to make more money than an entry-level position, or someone is from an office staff and they go to an entry-level position. We want to keep talent here. I think it's been a while. I think we're due for some type of payroll study to make sure we're in line. And then the second part is I think we've got some of the buildings, and I don't know the realm of how we do it. We got some buildings throughout the village, especially downtown, that are dangerous, dilapidated, that we got to start figuring out how to clean up the buildings before someone gets hurt. We got a fire hazard. To get the owners to tear them down. I'm sure people can figure out which one I'm talking about. Right downtown, we got buildings that are just so dilapidated that it's a rat hole downtown, that you got to do something. You have to figure out a way to, if they're vacant buildings, they're sitting there rotting. You have to figure out, I get where home rule, we have to figure out some mechanism, either get these buildings torn down or figure out a way to keep kids from going in there and not get hurt.
Fully respect your position, trustee, and I could agree more. I'm pretty sure I know which location you're speaking of, and staff is aware of other locations with the community as well. Certainly as with any property maintenance problem, compliance is our goal, right? We have worked extensively with that property owner to try to gain compliance. Unfortunately, he's been less than willing to move forward. As such, we have escalated this, and Attorney Vaselli is working on the litigation side of things to bring compliance to this building. So we're moving through the processes to try to get some court ordered relief to bring the building, at least, you know, I don't know if we'll completely fix the problem, but certainly solve the safety implications that you raise.
All right, anything else? All right, thank you. Then I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the regular meeting.
So move.
Motion trustee Peterson, second trustee Pierce. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes.
One opposed. Meeting is adjourned at 7:36. We'll take a 5-minute recess.
Pierce,
Present.
trustee Mason,
Here.
trustee Peterson,
Here.
Mayor Gardner.
Present. No mayoral report, no citizens wishing to address the board. So on to the regular business, which is the approval of the June 26, 2024 meeting minutes as presented. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Motion trustee Bluthart, second trustee Berman. Roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Luthart,
Yes.
Pierce,
Aye.
Mason,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
5 voting yes, motion carries. The second item is discussion regarding a special use request for a weightlifting club located at 927 Kearney Court. Mr. Garrett, Director
Yes,
Garrett.
thank you, Your Honor. This matter comes before you this evening for discussion for a special use for a proposed weightlifting gym called Full Tilt Gym. The proposed property will be located at 927 Kearney Court. That's the actual old deli source, you know where old deli source facility is. That facility has been vacant for some time since Deli Source relocated to Wisconsin. And the applicant this evening is coming in for a special use. The basis for the special use is that this proposed property is located within the village's foreign-based code, specifically the business park in the foreign-based code. Weightlifting facilities or health clubs are not identified as a permitted or special use. So based on that, we are bringing this matter as a special use for consideration to provide relief from the village's zoning matrix. The applicant specifically proposing to convert approximately 8,900 square feet of the existing facility, the end cap. So the map here, which I can show, you'll see there's an end cap of the actual Deli Source building. The applicant would convert that storage space into a weightlifting club. Specifically, this overall facility would require 44 spaces based on the parking matrix that we have, and current spaces that are currently located in the space are 66 spaces. Again, the zoning is the business park. The actual owner over here, Mr. Handyside, is actually here this evening. Maybe he can walk you through the actual business operations, the business plan of this proposal. This did go before the Planning Commission. Planning Commission did recommend approval of this proposed special use. So with that, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that the village board has. Again, the applicant is here this evening to answer any questions as it relates to operations of this proposed weightlifting facility. Thank you.
Any questions? Any questions? Tom, just one life safety question. Are you gonna have like AEDs in there? Okay, all right. Trustee,
I just have, would you have refreshments in there or? I mean, it's kind of like a club kind of thing.
sorry, Tom, just because there's people watching on, because we have probably 100 people watching on Zoom right now. Maybe 2.
My name's Tom Handyside. I live in Kyan, Illinois.
300 and 400.
There would be like at the front in the lobby, there would be like a cooler with like prepped meals, drinks, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Snap Fitness.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That wouldn't require any health department or anything like that, would it?
Not that I know of, but if
Okay.
it does, I'll take care of that.
No? Okay. That was all I wanted.
Anything else on this
No,
matter?
pretty cool.
All right. See 4 guys up here that need free passes, right? 5. You're one. All right. We'll move this to the meeting.
There's
for
the
the
old
next-
man
Yeah,
section, is that-
we'll move this to the next meeting, which is, I don't know the date off the top of my head. August 14th for approval, for vote. All right, next item is a placer progress report.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go over 2 things tonight, the placer report and then also the breakdown for the concert series. and the Chris Cagle concert. So, hold it. All right. So after the last meeting, there were some questions on how we utilize this, what it's being used for. And so I wanted to give you kind of a little bit of a breakdown on it. So you'll see in the beginning, the ability to track, provide information, the ability to track clients and how we can use this from a business development standpoint, and also some current examples of how we're using it currently in the market. So the ability to track. So I wanted to give a little bit of an example. So the data that you see, it's pretty hard to see, but you guys can see in your packet on the top left-hand side. So that's the band shell. So when the Chris Cagle concert happened, it gives us the ability to see where people came from, right? So we know that we had people from 38 different communities. It breaks it down by number of people per community that came to the actual event itself. So it gives us an idea of where people are coming from when we're having more events, or we're trying to market events, different communities. We can see where we're getting representation from. Also on the right side there, it'll show you, different things we look at is how long their visit is. So in this case, it's the duration visit. It'll show you on the bottom right, there's that little graph with the map there, and it shows basically where they're coming from as far as streets and how many people are coming from north, south, and what routes they're coming from. So it just gives us the ability to really track our progress or our participation for a lot of the events. On the second page, the ability to provide information. So we just finalized the hotel feasibility study that we did with ISHC. A lot of that information came from the information that we provided. So demographics, average median income, college education, proximity to parks, schools. So a lot of that stuff. So we provided about 70 different reports to the ISHC. So when they could compile all the information for that hotel feasibility study, that's where a lot of it came from. Also be able to give real-time traffic data, current data, so we can see what roads are being utilized in the community. So we know when we have people coming from other directions, where they're actually coming from, which then helps in turn when we're trying to attract new businesses, be able to give traffic patterns, traffic counts, understanding that there's 18,000 people a day coming down Route 173. There's 12,000 coming down 83, and so it gives an idea. And also, even some of the areas like 59 that maybe aren't as popular, but it shows where our residents are driving. So when somebody like a Starbucks says, where's a spot that would work great, we can give them that actual information. Leakage rate. So that's a big one. So when we are trying to attract a new business, for instance, we'll say Target, for example, that's one that comes up on every social media post in town. We're getting a Target or whatever it is. But so it gives me the ability to see that last year we had 60,000 visits from Antioch residents to the Target in Gurnee. I can see how many went to the one in Pleasant Prairie. So when we're trying to attract a business such as a Target, we can show them that we have a leakage rate that's very high. It means that people are going somewhere else. And so if we would have had that business in our own community, that it's going to do well based off of those numbers. And so again, real-time analytics, real-time experience, or traffic patterns, or really buying patterns to be utilized. And also cannibalization rates, saying, are we a key spot for a new restaurant? Are we a key spot for another car dealership? And they can start to look at cannibalization rates and understand that Antioch's a good area or it's not a good area. And so again, using the Ricer or the Placer data, it's going to give you those real numbers. Ability to attract clients. And so we just had a ribbon cutting today for a place called Found in downtown Antioch. When we were talking to them initially, they were a Lake Villa based company right downtown Lake Villa. And so I was able to give them what our analytics look like downtown Antioch. So it shows us that we had 1.4 million visits to downtown Antioch. And that's a small section, basically just on Main Street. And then look at that same area, downtown Lake Villa, and see that they only had 107,000 visitors last year. So it makes it a really good example of what we could do, or what your business could do in our town as opposed to another town. But again, having these to be able to compare them to. So that one, those are real numbers that they're down there from downtown Antioch and downtown Lake Villa. And how it's being used, that was one of the questions. So an example I use is, so I work with different businesses through town. Art from Antioch Pizza was one that is very interested in the metrics. And so I was able to give him a comparison of 4 other businesses in town, what they're doing that are in the same market. So in this case, it pulled Antioch Pizza, Anastasia's, Rosati's, and Ron and Pat's. It shows you're not always going to be the leader, but it's going to give you a pretty good example of understanding that Anastasia's might have a better business, but at what time, or Ron and Pat's might have, different demographics. And so to be able to give that information to businesses in town becomes very beneficial. And so I've been working with them to do that. And this is something that we offer to all businesses currently in Antioch right now. And that is it on the Placer part of it. Any questions on Placer or how it's being used or?
I do.
Okay, sure.
Is there a way to make this accessible for the merchants that they can access this easier?
Unfortunately,
So here's my statement. I'm looking at, and I'm just gonna use this, like, you got a lot of people coming from Wisconsin into Antioch.
Mhm.
Right? So it might make it sense for some of the retailers that they could market more Badger stuff or something. And if they don't have, well, geez Louise, I'm getting a lot of Wisconsin drivers. If they had access to this, then they can change their merchandise to more Wisconsin stuff versus, because it seems like there's a lot of Wisconsin maps out here.
Sure.
If we could put this somehow on the webpage or somewhere where they can get access to it, because I don't know if some of the people know this even exists. That's why I brought it up, because this is some good data, and I think people, they don't know what exists and where do people come from, even restaurants, if they want to serve pasties. I use that because I hate those, but Wisconsin person might have certain food they might want or something like that, and if they see all these Wisconsin people coming, maybe they might want to do a Wisconsin menu change for certain items. I don't know, but it's data that they would have, and I don't know if they have accessibility where we can make it easier for all the merchants to have an access site, whether it's they would have a login for this. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Yeah. So the short answer to that is the answer would be no, only because it's all licensing, right? So we as a village have a license for two people to be able to use the software. By all means, if there's a business that wants to come in there and would sit down, we can sit down and go through the information and provide it to them. But they won't have a way to just access it on their own. And quite frankly, it takes a little bit to get used to understanding how to pull reports, stuff like that. But again, for us as a resource, we could easily do that for them. There is an opportunity for any business to buy the program.
I'm going to make a suggestion though. I think Jim Moran here. Jim did a business roundtable last year where he brought in a speaker who was pretty good. And I think maybe we should do one soon, like with this, and show them that we have this capability. And then
I don't think a lot of this may.
I think this will open a lot of eyes for them.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. There was some the thought of doing a business roundtable for a while there, and we were trying to work with the chamber to try to do that without competing, and it unfortunately fell a little bit apart. But that was the intention of having these hour-long meetings once a month, and then bringing up stuff like this that we have the access for them.
All right. Yeah, we'll get one on the books for this. So this is important. I think. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. I mean, a chamber lunch plus just a village roundtable, and we had them all in here would be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very valuable tool, and you're absolutely right. There's not enough that utilize it yet or understand that we have the capability of it. So we'll definitely, that's something to fix. The next thing I want to bring up real quick is the Thursday. It's Thursday's kickoff concert breakdown for the Chris Cagle concert, and as well as the full lineup for the year. So the first page is the participation numbers, trade area, and cost breakdown. This is really focused on the Chris Cagle concert, but it does also show the concert cost for the village as far as for every Thursday night, the 11 that we have so far. So for the metrics for the Chris Cagle concert, we know that we had about 4,000 visitors. It ends up coming out to 3,928. We know that 1,496 were village residents. We know that there was 37 surrounding communities that made up that other 2432. And I put it in the packet. You'll see that I have a spreadsheet in there, and that has literally every town that was there and how many people from each town. So it's a great tool. When you're doing things like wine walks, when you're doing things like events, understanding where our market's coming from to be able to, market those areas, or understand there's areas that we're not getting any representation from. Maybe we need to reach into some of these areas that we're not pulling people from. So there's really two sides of it there. But again, this is just for the band shell. All these numbers are just for the band shell. We know the average time spent there was 109 minutes. And then it has your year to year. We're down 36% right now, but that's based off of just that 1 week, not for the whole entire year. So the trade area, again, 38 communities. It shows on there what those communities are. It goes all the way up to Milwaukee, all the way down to essentially the Naperville area. But again, great information for us to have. And then the cost breakdown. So
before you go to the cost
Yeah,
breakdown,
sure.
are you saying that that 1 week where we had, was they comparing the week time frame, or were they comparing the two start-off concerts? Was there a significant drop from last year's concert?
No, that was just that metric in there was from year to year what we were at this time right now. So that was taking all of last year. We're trailing by 36% right now. So we'll make that up. But the reality is that park will normally get maybe 1,000 people. So when you have a huge influx, it's going to look really like we're tracking at 75% total for the year right now. But then we'll make up that other 30 as it goes with the regular Thursday concerts and stuff.
Is it possible to break it down?
Yeah, I can show you last year to this year. Absolutely, that day
against each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like to see
Yeah,
that.
and I have the rough numbers, and I did pull that last year, and I wish I would have put side by side to see, because we were down about 2,500 people from last year's concert to this year's concert.
Okay.
That gives you any. And then again, breakdown. You can see right now we're at with the Chris Cagle concert, with all the bands being paid for, with all of our costs right now for the year, is about 71,000 in costs. And then with our sponsorship, with our beer sales, with what we brought in this year, we're at 75,000 still, or 75,500. So we're in the black, by 5,000. I think last year at this time we were about -15. So we had a big uptick in sponsorship money this year, which really helped offset a lot of it. The beer sales this year compared to last year were drastically different. I'd say we brought in about $24,000 in beer sales last year with 2,500 extra people. So we had some really thirsty people last year. This year, we only lost about 22 or 2,500 people, but our beer sales were only about 9,000. So, and then after you take the cost of beer out of it. So it was a drastic difference here. So I think if we would have had the same year we had this year in beer sales, we would be $30,000 over what we are.
So yeah, there was a difference in demographics. You looked at the crowd last year compared to this.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of different wide range last year. This year was kind of focused in on a narrow range of more people like me who go and listen to it and enjoy it, but we don't drink.
Sure.
So it's something we need to look at when we're comparing our demographics. And as you're looking at the cost here, it says the 24 band lineup. What is that? Is that the
2024.
Is that
Yeah.
all the bands?
Yeah, 11 bands plus Chris Cagle.
Okay. Well, Chris Cagle was 25 and above. So, I mean, so it's the
2024 band lineup. That's what the
Okay.
24s. I should have put the little
correct.
hash
Okay.
in front of you.
I just want to make sure that's what it was.
Yep. Is there any questions on the breakdown for that event?
Sounds good.
Okay. And the last and final thing for tonight is, so we had the RFP for the Sequoia Creek Park Cafe. At one point we had 6, I think mildly interested people that were looking at our businesses, looking at getting into the cafe. That went from 6 down to 4. We did the walkthrough. We had 3, and I had 1 business turn in a proposal. The reason for that is there could be a million reasons. But I think that the one that we did get, the proposal, I do like. I do think that she has a long history of doing this. I think she's got a very unique menu that would fit really well for the cafe. It's light foods, which there's going to be some limitations in there what you can cook anyways. So to be able to do crepes and sandwiches and salads, offer coffee in the morning and some sweet rolls and stuff like that, I think really line up with the vision that we had. And then having light dinners, and then again, it's really not gonna the evening part of it's not really gonna replace dinner. So I don't think we're gonna directly compete with our local downtown brick and mortars. But to be able to have, you know, some local beers and wine and then also things for kids, I think kind of hits right where we're looking for. So I wish I had 3 to compare to, but right now we have 1. And I just wanted you guys to see that, see what your thoughts were before we decide to award this or go to plan B.
Mark, I looked through, did, was there hours of operation on here?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's,
I looked through a week or 2 ago, but
it is something like the,
and while you're looking for that, would she be ready to go this year?
I think as soon as the decision is made, most of her equipment she's buying is not very expensive equipment. And she seems very ambitious to get in there. I mean, she stayed on top of this RFP like daily, calling and asking questions. So
I see it.
You see it as I say, it's on one of the first couple pages. So 4 days a week, averaging, that was, but I know they were April 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, so there is not.
April 1st through November 1st. Let's see the hours.
Yeah, it looks like number 7 where it says proposed days of operation is not in there. See attached menu. So
I just want to make sure that it's, you know, consistent days.
yeah, I mean, I think the idea that she is proposing would be Thursday through Sunday, and then anytime there's a, you know, event of any mean, she'd be open for the event. So
okay.
Any other
Is this
questions?
something we need, this is, we would just need an okay from the board. We don't need to vote on this. Okay. Any questions for this on? Go for it, guys. Yeah. All right. I'll start with Ed and then I'll go around again.
So the suggestion for the contract, because everybody says stores aren't open, can't go shopping. If we can put some language in the contract that if for some reason we award a contract to whoever and they can't fulfill the hours, they forfeit the contract.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, in the RFP, it was very specific on the hours. It was minimum of Thursday through Sunday from, I think I don't know specifically, but I believe it was like 9 or 10 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. So there was in the RFP, there was a guideline that said what those hours needed to be at minimum.
Yeah, but once they get it, then
Right.
Yeah, we'll have to put that in the lease.
Yeah.
In the contract. All right. Any other questions on this, Trustee Pierce?
No questions.
Okay. I mean, I think given the situation and the comfort level with, you know, it's not like she's never done this before. Is the board okay with us moving forward so we can get this up and running as soon as possible? Okay. All right, let's get it rolling. All right. Thank you. Yep. Any other business to discuss? All right, we have a couple department reports. We have communications, parks, and public works.
Good evening, Mayor, Board. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. As you guys know, we've been in the process of hiring a communications and special events person for the village. Clerk Romine and myself have been working to get this position filled as quickly as we can. It's a critical position for the village, especially this time of year. It's an understatement to say I've been overwhelmed by the quality of candidates that we've received. We have some rock stars that have applied for this position. So it's exciting to go through them, meet them, go through the interview process. And I hope to have somebody by the time you guys meet again next month for the first board meeting. Hopefully we'll have a candidate selected, and if they haven't started already, they'll be close to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Quilty. This might be like one of the last ones, right?
No, the
Yeah,
last meeting, August what?
August. All right.
You get me one.
We'll have a party then.
Good evening, Mayor and Trustees. I just want to give you an update on as our summer is ending, how much the Parks Department has been busy. And staff has done an excellent job. I give kudos to Allison for running our pool. She has done an awesome job, a lot of great camaraderie over there. With that being said, they taught over 331 children swim lessons this summer. The evening light lessons, that is where we're going to make some changes. There was wait lists every session. So we just need to get more staff to teach more lessons in the evening, open up some evenings. Day camp have over 400 campers. Well, swim lessons ended last week, so that's over. Now the pool's open and it'll stay open until August 18th, our normal hours. And then starting August 18th, we're only open for weekends and then close on Labor Day. She did get a lot of, again, that kudos to Allison. Staff convinced them, those that like to go back to school early or go to school. We are never really open to the 18th. It was going to be the 12th, but her staff appreciates her and respects her, and they are going to open up that 1 week. I give her a lot of credit for that. And then day camp, we have 2 more weeks of day camp, and we have serviced over 400 campers. It's a great camp, and they love the kids. The kids love it. It's a great combined of lots of kids of different schools. So they meet new friends. I also want to acknowledge Miss Antioch, Layla Salata, Junior Miss Antioch, Zoe Babin, and Little Miss Antioch, Autumn Mish. They have done an amazing job. They are giving up their reign August 10th. And these girls, they've been remarkable mentors. I watch them with small children and the kindness, from their soul. They're just good, great girls with so much potential. And it's a great representation of our town when they go to other towns and represent Antioch as a town. And I hope that our next 3 Miss Antiochs after August will be just as good. And then Jim Moran and I will be meeting with Hitchcock next week for the preliminary of the community input meeting for Centennial Park. Centennial Park holds a lot of memories to many in this community, those who helped build it, those who helped rebuild with the 25th, and to honor Ted and Vicki Axton. So when we do, only from the Parks Master Plan, the community input, we didn't get lots of people. And I think I encourage you to encourage people to attend because it holds so much memories for people so that we get it right and we don't disrespect those that have worked so hard for this park. And it was our community park, but our new community park is across the street, but we still want to make it perfect for everyone. And that should be, we're looking in mid-August for a community input meeting. And then lastly, the program guide goes out to the printer tomorrow and will be in your mailboxes August 15th for programming from September to April. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And you may or may not know, the parks have been very short-staffed the last month and a half. So thank you for taking care of that with such a limited staff. Public Works.
Thank you and good evening. Just a couple brief updates. One is well 7. The pump and the motor were pulled. Luckily, and I do have to give some appreciation to the staff that realized this back months ago when they seen the flow rates from the pump or the well actually not producing as accurate as it should be, because when they pulled the pumps out, there's actually holes in the bowl system and the seal on the motor were about to fail. So on a good note, they did a televising of the casing, and that's in all new good condition. And it was proposed to replace the components of the well with all new anyways. So that was anticipated just due to the age of the well. Thank you for the Woods of Antioch approval. I will pursue a pre-construction meeting and hopefully have a schedule at the next meeting for you, where I will bring in the first meeting in August, the road program. Hopefully we will have the bids open on the 6th, and I will present a contract to be awarded to them. That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Trustee Pierce?
I think Oakwood Knolls emailed everybody asking about, or not maybe fairly everybody, asking about some damage that our crews possibly did during rainstorms or something, moving stuff around.
That we did damage?
They were like ruts in the.
Over by the area.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's a lot of it more because of your runoff. We go down there to monitor. I meet this down there. It looks like you might get these stars.
Yeah, we've been dealing with, yeah, Sherry's been in contact with, I forget the lady's name from Open Knolls. And we were just waiting for some time to be able to bring some gravel down there.
Dry out.
Yeah, yes, that too. And then I think there was a request to maybe do some trimming, so we were gonna see, if we could trim a few branches or something, because it's starting to get overgrown.
Did they stop with the tree pickup?
Yes, that's all done.
They didn't even do Bulls Road.
Where?
By mine. Again,
It should have been picked up a couple days ago. Because I was down there, noticed it, and I sent them down there because they were clearing our property on 59. It's your, it's the neighbor behind you on Bulls.
Still this morning when I.
Okay, I'm gonna go there right now and I will contact those individuals tomorrow morning.
All right. Anything else? All right, thank you, Denny.
Thank
you. All right. Didn't receive any requests for executive session, so I think we're good there. So I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Wait, I just, I want to ask one question.
Sure.
Michael, I just want to ask you a question. Last meeting, I asked about the drive-through for the Starbucks. And did you email me back about that? You said you would talk to them.
Yeah, no, I don't think I did. So I'd be more than happy to talk to you offline on that one. So regards to the actual drive-through.
No, I mean, it got approved tonight.
Right.
And, but my problem is I had to go after the information and I wanted you to get back to me on that. And you never emailed me back. You talked to the people from Starbucks and you never emailed me back. You never called me and let me know what was going on with that.
Okay, well, I do apologize for that. So I'll be more than happy to talk to you on that off.
Okay. I mean, there were a lot of people here tonight that were pretty upset about it. So it would have been a good idea to get that out there so that, Starbucks wasn't interested in any of that. Plus there was water detention right there. So it wouldn't have worked, but they were so upset. They came in, they had a lot of anxiety in the last, we missed the last meeting,
Nice.
quite a while. And, that could have just been avoided. You'd have just contacted me and just
Right.
said, that's not going to work.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Thank you. More communication.
Got an email invitation to the theater for the 100th anniversary. Friday just came through.
This Friday?
Yeah.
What time?
4:00. At 4:00 it just came through.
Okay. All right.
Then your email.
You talk about the movie theater, not the
Movie
given up.
theater,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Celebrate
100
their
years old.
100th anniversary.
All right. Good to know. All right. Motion to adjourn, anybody? Motion trustee Bluthart,
Second.
second trustee Berman. Roll, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, meeting adjourned at 8:17.